Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm Senator Connie Leyva, and I serve as the chair of the Senate Select Committee on Mobile and Manufactured Homes. And to those of you who have come to our town halls, I miss you. And I'm hoping soon we will get to have another town hall in person. But for now, we can be on Zoom and we can provide you information in that way. I want to thank you for joining us and coming to learn about rental assistance for our mobile home residents. So many residents in the Inland Empire and across our state have been hurt and have been struggling during the pandemic. Many people have lost their livelihood, they have struggled to pay rent, faced food insecurity, or tragically even lost a loved one due to this virus. Even before the pandemic, California already had a major ongoing housing crisis. Mobile home communities in our state are truly an important element of affordable home ownership. And most of you know that I feel that way. Not only have these challenges not gone away, they have actually worsened during the pandemic. Since the pandemic began and even before, I've had the honor to fight hard to ensure that we get resources and relief to those in need. I want to thank all of you who have pitched in to work together to get through this very tough and difficult time. One great resource we hope that you will take advantage of or share with a loved one or a neighbor is the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. This program is also for home and apartment renters, but today we will be focusing on a community that also is very near and dear to my heart, as I have said, our mobile home communities across California. I want to make sure that everyone who is in need and eligible from our mobile home parks takes full advantage of this program that is administered by the California Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. To discuss the program and introduce HCD department staff who will answer questions, today we have with us HCD Director Gustavo Velasquez. He was appointed by Governor Newsom as director of the California Community of Housing and Community Development this past April 2020. Director Velasquez was most recently at the Urban Institute, where he served as senior director. He was also Assistant Secretary for the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity at the Federal U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And he too has a heart for our mobile home residents. So Director, I welcome you. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Senator, for that introduction and for putting together this event for your constituents on an extremely important and timely matter. For those who are watching or listening, I don't have to tell you, Senator Leyva has been true champion, probably most active and effective legislature in the state, working to protect the health and safety and livelihood of mobile home residents. And we're so appreciative for all the work that you've put onto this on this area. I mean, I can go on and on with SB 136, SB 329, SB 542. My favorite one, SB 46, your bill, Senator, that really enhanced the ability for the department to go and do more inspections and ensure that our residents are protected from health and safety hazards. So very appreciative of all the work that you've done. And we want to talk to you today about rental assistance. California is administering the largest state program for rent relief in the nation. And we are making significant progress in providing rent and utility assistance to renters and landlords to prevent people from being evicted, to provide financial stability during a pandemic. It is true that many people during the pandemic lost wages, lost income, and started getting behind on rent payments. And thanks to the Biden administration, became very involved in enacting provisions to protect renters across the country and landlords, especially small landlords that have also to pay mortgage and pay maintenance. We were the beneficiary of a lot of money that is still, a lot of that money is still available. So we want to talk to you about how to take advantage of this program. More than 60,000 households across the state have received north of $700 million already in rent relief. And again, there's plenty of resources available. And you all have heard in the news about this end of protection, eviction protections a few days ago, September 30th. What we are saying to the residents of our state is really it wasn't that the protections ended, the protections changed as of October 1. And it is critical to understand what that means, that they don't end, they just change. The renters that are still behind on rent, that have not paid, that have this debt in rent and utility, can still be protected from evictions if, and this is critical, if they apply for the state's rental assistance program within 15 days of receiving an eviction notice. In fact, only yesterday, I was able to submit a letter to hundreds of judges and courts across the state to remind them, they already know this, but to remind them that as evictions begin to be filed by landlords, that it is extremely important for the judges and for the courts to know that if renters have proof that they have applied to this program, they cannot be evicted, that the process of eviction proceedings cannot continue until such time as the rental assistance program determines whether or not they have been eligible for rent relief. But what triggers the protection is that they have applied to the program, not that they have been determined, approved, or that they have been given the funds to pay their landlord, but that they have applied to the program. If they receive an eviction notice, again, they have 15 business days to apply to this program, the California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program, and tell their landlords that they have applied or intend to apply. Communicating to their landlord that they are applying for the program can, again, delay or prevent altogether their eviction. And a landlord cannot legally evict a renter for non-payment of COVID-related debt without also applying to the program. That is very important. We may have some landlords here listening, so that's just as important to them. The state reimburses 100%, thanks to the senator and members of the legislature that passed and the governor signed into law ABA 32. This program reimburses 100% of the rent due for eligible renters who participate in the program. The state program will also pay 100% of rent in advance to renters who have a financial hardship caused by COVID-19 and who will have trouble paying future rent. And when I said 100% of what you owe in rent, this goes to rent that you owe going back to April of last year, April 2020 up to now. It is a state priority that all Californians eligible for these funds receive equitable access to assistance and served with dignity, respect, integrity, compassion, regardless of their circumstances, ability, or identity. You can go to housingiskey.com. You will see that we have information on eligibility, instructions that takes you immediately to the application form. It's simple, it's quickly, it's translated professionally in many languages. Eligible applicants will qualify for rental assistance regardless of immigration status and will not be required show to proof of residency, of citizenship. Again, very important. No questions whatsoever in this application on your immigration status, and this information will not be shared with any federal or state entity. So you have to know that you can trust this program. It's working. It has already worked for thousands and thousands of Californians, and we want you to take advantage of it. It's the best thing you can do to protect you and your loved ones from eviction. We have Lori Blevins from my team that will give you a quick presentation on this program, but what you need to know is after this session, check out housingiskey.com to again learn more about this program. More information will be coming in the next presentation by Lori. But time is of the essence here. And just to give you a sense of LA County and San Bernardino County, just to give you a sense, in LA County, we received almost 150,000 applications. The total funds that have been paid are $335 million with an average assistance per household of $12,400. In San Bernardino County, we've received more than 8,000 applications. We've paid nearly $18 million with an average of assistance per household of close to $11,000 per household. We're making progress, but with the eviction protections changing, it's very, very important that we continue to apply to this program. This program is serving those most in need. More than 85% of the people that they've applied are very or extremely low income, working, poor families that have been left behind because of COVID financial hardship. And this program is making sure that we keep them stable in their home. So if you're listening and you still have not applied and you are eligible, please go to housingiskey.com immediately after this session. I'm going to turn things over to Lori. Thank you, Senator, for all your work. And we can start this presentation in more detail about this program.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Senator, for having me here today. Gustavo, you stole my presentation. There was a lot of good information that Gustavo provided to you, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, and then we'll have some time for question and answer. So I'm going to share my screen right now and move over to the presentation, and we'll get into the weeds a little bit. Can you guys all see the presentation? Can you still see it? Or did I move it? I think I moved it. Are we good?
Yeah, right there.
Okay. So obviously we're here to talk about the state of California's rental relief, emergency relief program. To give you a little bit of an overview of the program is funded through the U.S. Treasury by the Consolidated Appropriations Act and the American Rescue Plan that were passed in late 2020, early 2021. We launched our program on March 15th of 2021. So we're only about 7 months into it, but it was a really quick launch and a really fast, big buildup, really fast to get the money going. The program is focused, as Gustavo said, in stabilizing low-income households through the payment of rental arrears for landlords and tenants. We also have over 140 organizations in our local partner network with boots on the ground to assist people in their communities. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go on. And again, as Gustavo said, we have, as of 2 days ago, we have funded over $700 million in rent and utility assistance to over 69,000 households in California. So we're very impressed and we're very excited about these numbers. Oh, back. Program overview. The program provides financial assistance for landlords and income-eligible renters impacted by COVID-19 for unpaid or future rents and unpaid utilities. Enables the most impacted households to stay in their homes and prevents eviction and makes landlords whole. Both landlords and renters are encouraged to apply. Applicants may qualify regardless of immigration status and will not be required to show proof of citizenship. All application is kept private, and the program is open until funds are exhausted. Requirements for the tenant is basically it's an income-based program, so 80% of AMI or below, and the AMI, for those who not sure what that acronym means, but it's the area median income, and it's determined by county. You don't really have to know what that is. When you go to apply at housingiskey.com, the system will calculate it for you. It'll tell you what income you have to be at or below. The program pays, as we said before, unpaid rent and utilities, and we will pay future rents up to 3 months at a time. We refer to those as prospective rents. In order to be an eligible landlord, you must have renters that are behind on their rents. Your renters must be at 80% or below AMI. The rents we will pay bring current as of April 1st, 2020, so all the way back to last year. And renters must take steps to verify with the program that they also meet the eligibility requirements. And this is a question that came across earlier today with landlords who have tenants who are reluctant to apply for the program. We have to have an application from the tenant because we need to verify their income. So one of the things that I would recommend for those situations is using one of our many local partnerships, and we can get you in touch with someone in your area so that they can reach out to your tenants and help them apply and maybe guide them through an application. As Gustavo said, we pay 100% of unpaid rent. Originally, when we first rolled out, it was only 80%, but that changed. So now we're paying 100% of unpaid rent and 100% of future rent and 100% of unpaid utilities. Eligible renters whose landlords don't participate in the program can still receive 100% of their unpaid rent, but they must pay the landlord within 15 days of receiving the benefits. We also will allow rental assistance to be paid to a tenant who has possibly self-evicted and moved out of the property, but they still owe the landlord. They can still apply, and we can make that landlord whole. We have over $5.2 billion in total rent relief. As we talked about a little bit about the eviction protections and the eviction protections changing. There was a lot of media, scare. Moratoriums are going away. We don't like to use that word moratorium, first of all, because it wasn't a true moratorium. But as of the first of this month, the eviction protections changed in that the landlord can still file, or now the landlord can file for an eviction, but they must apply to the program before they do. So that's the biggest deal with what has changed after the first of this month. They can still file for a unlawful detainer, but they have to apply for rental assistance before they do, and before they can get that unlawful detainer, they have to prove that they were declined assistance. So the process is intended to provide protections for tenants who are eligible and in need of assistance, and making landlords whole with an opportunity to proceed with the eviction protections if the tenant is no longer or is not eligible and does not apply for assistance. So it's really important for the tenants to understand that they have to participate in the program. It's not just automatic that they will be, that the landlord will be paid. They need to also apply. So AB 832 is the state law that kind of dictates the eviction protections that are out there as of October 1st. And these are just a couple of the highlights of that bill. It does end the end of some declaration forms, returns to a 3-day notice of pay or quit as of October 1st for rents that are due as of October 1st. And again, requires the landlord to apply for rental assistance before proceeding with an unlawful detainer. So the application process is simple. Housing is Key is our website. You go to the website and you apply here. We have applications in 6 languages, including English, on our website. As you can see by this graphics, we do have an application portal for the landlord and an application portal for the tenant. Once the landlord applies and once the tenant applies, we match those applications up together so that we have a completed application for both. And then we fund, depending on If the landlord is participating, the funding goes to the landlord. If we don't get a landlord to participate, which happens, then we will fund the tenant directly. I'm not going to go through all of these different stages. You just mostly get the idea of the process. So the paperwork that we need is very, very simple. I call it a very low barrier application approach because we do really require minimal documentation. You can qualify your income by using your 2020 tax returns or a 1099-G or current pay stubs. If you are currently receiving state or federal subsidies from any other assistance within the state or federal government, you can use those benefit letters to qualify. If you're on Social Security, you can provide us with your benefit letter or your bank account showing your Social Security being deposited into your account. For utility bills, to pay the utility bills, we want your most recent unpaid utility bill. And we will verify with your utility provider what is actually owed, and we pay directly to the utility provider in all instances. We never send utility payments directly to the tenant. If the landlord is participating, we request a copy of his ledger, the rental ledger of some kind. It doesn't have to be formal, it doesn't have to be fancy. We just want to see some type of a ledger because we want to understand what rents are owed for what month. And we want a copy of the lease or the rental agreement, if at all possible. And we do realize that sometimes people have been in their properties for a long time. They don't have such a document, they can't find it. But we like to have something that shows the relationship between the tenant and the landlord and the amount of rents that are owed. The landlord also, we need a copy of his W-9 because we use that for tax purposes. If we pay the landlord directly, we report to the government that we have paid this particular landlord X amount of money. So applications are designed to give flexibility in how a tenant or landlord can meet these requirements. And the pre-application checklist recommends documentations, but an applicant may also work with a case manager to provide alternate documentation. So that's important to know. Not one size fits all, we all know that. So there is always exceptions or other things that you can provide, but what we're really looking for is income documentation to show that you are within the 80% area median. We want to see a relationship between the tenant and the landlord, and we want to understand what is owed in rents and for what months. So when you go to apply, the first thing you do is, I call it a triage page. You put in an address, and it will direct you, the tenant or the landlord who's applying, to the correct program. And when I say correct program, there are localities within the state that are running their own program. City of San Bernardino, for example, is one of them. So we just started recently working with the County of San Bernardino to bring their program into the state program. But you don't really have to worry about either one. You don't have to know you don't have to know where to go. You put in the address, you put in your address, and we will direct you to the appropriate program. So if it is the City of San Bernardino, we will refer you to their program and their website. If it's County of San Bernardino, you will stay with us. And my mailman's coming, my dog's gonna bark. So that is what we call the no wrong door. Because no matter what, you can come to our website, regardless of where you live, and we will direct you to the correct program. So this is what our application looks like when you first come in. You're going to put your email address and you're going to create a password. So you're basically creating your application or your file. So that's just a screenshot, super easy. Applications. We've done a lot since we launched the program, even though it's only been 7 months. We are continually modifying our application and our processes to make it easier and make our applications streamlined. in the last 7 months, in the last 2 months that I've been here, we've done quite a bit to less time to complete. We actually monitor how long it takes somebody to complete an application. We have that data, which is amazing. We do have applications, paper applications available in multiple languages. As I said, we have our applications, and everything on our website is translated into 6 languages and 7 languages, including English. But our local partner network has documentation, and we provide a lot of media documentation in different languages as well. So once you submit your application, the process is it goes into the application submitted, and then it goes into an initial review, so that if there is additional documentation that is needed, we will reach out to you, either the landlord or the tenant, in the manner that they have requested, either text or email or call, to request the additional documentation that we need. So it's really important that you submit everything together at once, because that'll get your application through the system a lot quicker. But if there is additional documentation, you will receive an email or a call or a text from us. And then once it goes into a case manager, if you want to make changes to your application, you would need to call the call center and ask them to reopen your application so that you can make changes, or you could call the call center and ask them to make the application changes for you. You will be able to log in and modify your request for number of months, the types of payments, and add additional documentation if you think that's necessary. And again, once your application is in process, you will need to coordinate with a case manager. So part of the AB 832 requirements is that the state program had to have the ability for the courts to access the system to check application status. So we've simplified this this process by several ways. We have a button on our homepage that you can, well, it will be there, I think tomorrow. You click on it and it says, right now it says apply now, but we're adding a button that says check status now. So that will take you into the system, so you can just put in your information and you can retrieve, print, take a picture of it, of a current status of your application that you could use to prove to the courts that you have applied for assistance. This will work with landlords and tenants both. So the coming soon self-service status updates available from the homepage, that's what I'm talking about. That'll be probably tomorrow, if not first thing next week. You can also call the call center. We have simplified our call center. I have the IVR tree so that when you call in, you can press 1 for a status information, press landlord status information, press 2 for tenant information, or you can even press 3 for courts. And those aren't the numbers, but that's the idea, so that we have a direct line for the courts, for the landlords, and the tenant to get real-time information as quickly as possible from a call center representative. But we do encourage you to use the website, because that's going to be a lot quicker and a lot easier. So we have a couple of different call centers. We have our general call center, is the one that I'm just talking about. If you want status of your application, you want to change your application, you want to make sure that that we have the most current documentation for your delinquencies, is the 833-430-2122 number. But we have another call center, and we call it the appointment center. And this is in partnership with LISC and our 140 local partner networks that we have across the state. And you can actually call this number, 833-687-0967, if you want help completing the application. We do lots of in-person events with our local partners around the state. We'll have kind of community drives where they'll show up at community centers, and we do some outreach education, and they're there to help take applications on the spot. They will take applications at the door. With COVID-19, we're a little bit backing off of that a little bit going into the home, but we're trying to get out to the areas that are the most underserved and the areas where you may have tenants that are reluctant to apply for the program. As Gustavo mentioned, citizenship is not a requirement, but I'm sure that it's very scary for some when they think that they're going to have to tell a government, ask for assistance from the government. This also doesn't affect your ability to become a U.S. citizen. So benefits from this program doesn't affect anything if you're trying to become a citizen. I think there's a term for public charge. It's not considered that. So let's see. So that's the local partners for in-person support. And then we have our case management support at the processing center that we already talked about. They will work with you and the tenant and the landlord to make sure that your application is submitted and we have everything we need. And then an applicant can also add an individual as a designated person on their account. Now sometimes we see this with, an applicant may use one of the local partner networks as their designee because maybe our applicant doesn't have the ability to check email, or they don't have a phone, or they don't speak any of the languages that we're working with. So that's also a possibility that you can add somebody as your designee, and we will correspond with them. So we also have a public dashboard that's available from our website, and it's very interactive. You can search by your own county or your city or your locality. This is just a snapshot, and you can see it's outdated. It's from July. But this is where you could go and see what the total application volume is. You can see what was funded. You can see the average assistance. You can see the breakdown. We have an AMI breakdown. We have an ethnicity breakdown. So at this time, we had 61% of our applicants were 61% or below. 61% were 30% or below AMI. And then 23% were at 50% or below AMI. 6% were at 60. And I think these numbers are holding true pretty much even today. So we even have an age category, a gender, and we really drill down on some of the races. But it's really, like I said, it's very interactive. You can change by county and city and it'll pop up. Now, one thing to keep in mind though, this will only show the programs for the counties that the state is managing. If a county or a locality is managing their own program, it won't be included here. But as Gustavo said, we are managing most of the state of California at this point. So here's some quick links. I was asked to keep this up on the screen, and I think I'm almost done with the presentation, but these are just some links that you can go to where you can find out more information about the program, where you can apply for the program. And our website also has a lot of information on it. There's a lot of information, Q&As for both the landlord and the tenant, especially about the eviction process, the terms of the rules of engagement, so to speak, of what they are right now. So I'm going to pull this back up. I'm going to finish going through here because I think we're almost done. The takeaways really today are that, we have a very interactive application process. Tenant participation is absolutely required. Your case references number, go into a portal and check your application to determine what area you're from. Call center can reopen your application at any time. In order to evict a tenant for failing to pay rent that came due between these two dates, March 1st, 2020 and March 31st of 2022, the landlord must apply for assistance. Now, the only thing that is different from this is if you started renting your residence October 1st, then none of these protections apply to you. It's only if you were renting between March 20 and March 2022. So pay or quit noticing requirements are changing. It's a little technical, but it goes from 3 days to 15 days, depending on the delinquencies. There's different rules for different dates of delinquency, and I'm not going to get into that because it's very confusing. And I don't think for most of us it really matters. You just know if you get an eviction notice, you need to do something, right? Get an eviction notice, you need to let your landlord know that you're applying for assistance, and you need to apply for assistance if you haven't already. If you already are in the system and you are need to understand where you're at, again, you can go to the website, check the status. We are processing, I think we have over 300,000 applicants in the system right now to process. We have constantly changing our processes, protocols to make sure that we get everybody through as fast as we can. We understand that people are stressed and it's frustrating, but please know that we are here working very hard to get your application through as quickly as possible. So beginning of November 1st, a landlord can bring a lawsuit for unpaid rent in small claims court. This is only if they get the judgment, right? They can't do it unless they get a judgment. Landlords seeking to recover COVID-19 rental debt must provide documentation that they made a good faith effort to apply for the assistance. I can't say that enough because it's really important that landlords understand that they have to apply for assistance before they can file for an unlawful detainer. If the landlord isn't quite truthful, the courts can reduce the amount of damages if they find that something wasn't altogether honest with the application. And courts may limit the attorney fees in a COVID-19 rental debt case. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm going to go sit up here with the quick references for all of you. And I know we're on a live Facebook, correct? And I don't know if how we get questions there, Senator, do you know?
Yes, I think usually people can put them into the chat, but I also thought maybe we had some questions that we had received ahead of time.
Oh.
I'm going to ask Eric from staff if we have received any questions ahead of time.
Yes, Lori, I think one question is, and it's good that you put up the sign, is if folks have a challenge getting their documentation, their identification, where can they go to be able to do this?
If they have trouble finding what? I'm sorry.
Submitting their documentation or their proof of eligibility. Where are the local places that can go to get resources and help?
Yeah, so when you go to our website, there is a tool on our website. And when you put in the address, it will tell you what local partner networks or what local partners are in your area. It will provide their name and their phone number. So that's available on our website. And they will help you with the applications, obviously, taking the applications, submitting documentation. That's what they're here to help with. Or they can call the call center.
Great.
Let me make a point about this because I think this is relevant. A few months ago, when we were having trouble getting more applicants, one of the feedback that we received, we've been doing a lot of community engagement to learn, but what are the barriers to you to apply more? So the immigration status, not knowing that was one, right? The fact that our translations early in the program, we were using Google Translate. They were not coming out the right way. So we decided to professionally translate the forms. Things like that. One of the things we heard continuously is that people finding documentation, finding proof of income, uploading that, or having an actual contract lease. There's a lot of leasing happening that is like, oh, let me rent you a room. I rent you a room. There is no like real contract. It's like an arrangement, but it's a real rent, and that person may be behind rent and may be owing this landlord. So when we heard these barriers, we went back and simplify things in a way that we use a lot of attestation. Lori, tell me if I'm wrong here. The attestations where we would say, under perjury of law, what I want to make sure is that you answer yes or no to these questions. We shortened the number of questions, made it easier for people to attest to certain facts in terms of these types of documentation and that actually helped a lot to speed up. Of course, we have to verify, right? One of the things we are very mindful of, is that, these types of programs, duplication of funds, abuse of the use, maybe even fraud can happen. Let's just be honest. So we have to verify in the back end that all of this information is accurate, right? But as a matter of expediting the application process, we gave applicants a lot of questions of attesting to these facts with a yes or no, and that actually speed up the way that people were applying. That just wanted to mention that.
That's great. That's very helpful. And Lori, I think I see a question in the chat. Do you see that as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
And I kind of spoke to this because I saw that question before we started the presentation. But Deborah Harper, she's also from our office. She's also posted a resource, a link to a resource there where we have crafted a letter for the landlord to give to the tenant that explains the program and encourages them to apply. You can try doing that. And then again, reach out to a local partner network, CBO in your area, and see if they can come help you also connect with the tenant.
I'm going to read the question because I think our folks on Facebook Live can't see it. So The question is, what can landlords do when residents have delinquent balances from before 2021 and those residents will not do their part to apply for assistance? So I think that we got the answer. That was the question. You can write a letter and that the landlords can provide to tenants that describes the benefits of the program and ensure them to apply. So the letter is in the chat to find it, but is there another way that folks can get to that letter?
Yes, they should be able to find it on our website.
Okay.
If it's not linked there, we'll make sure it is linked there.
Okay.
We have like I said, we have a resource page on our website. Deborah, I don't know if Deborah can talk to me, but we can make sure that there's a link there for it.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. And our next question is, do low-income retirees qualify for this aid? My location is at the Amberlight Mobile Home Park in Crown, California.
Yes, absolutely. There's no discrimination on where your income comes from, as long as you're within 80% or below of income. And another thing I wanted to point out that I didn't really reference in our presentation is that it doesn't. There's nothing if you live in a mobile home park and you own your own mobile home and you pay a rental space in that park, that rent that you pay for that rental space is covered under this program. So if you're delinquent on just your space, then you would qualify for help with that rent and the utilities associated with it. Utilities, if they're paid with your rent, it can be included. Let's say your water and garbage is included in your rental space, in your rental space rent, that would be included in your benefit amount also.
Great. And we have a question. Hi, I thought the program closed on the 1st, which I know you answered that, but I think it's worth repeating because I think a lot of people that is sticking in their mind. So it closed on the 1st, but it didn't really. What's our answer?
It did not close on the 1st. There was a lot of misconception going on. And I don't know where it was coming from. I think it was because there was a lot of media about the eviction protections ending at the end of the month. So for some reason, people made the jump that, if the eviction protections are going away, then the program is no longer valid. That is not correct. We are here till we run out of money.
Perfect. And I think that that's exactly the right answer. I think we see so much on the news what's happening at the federal level, and we don't know that at the state level, we probably have other programs. We do have other programs, and that ours weren't ending. So apply. Next question is, what are the minimum income for eligibility? I am a disabled senior citizen living under a fixed income, and SSI and Medi-Cal qualify for the assistance. I'm currently up to date on rental space dues, but I am extremely challenged every month to get by.
So I don't, it depends on the county that you live in. As far as the AMI is based on county average median income. But you can just go to our website and put in your address, and it depends on how many people is in the household also. So if there's 1, 2, 3, or 4, it makes a difference. But go to our website. It's free. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. Once you get into it, you're not obligated to it. You can cancel the application at any time. But go to the website, put in the address, and it'll eventually get you to the income qualifiers, one of the first things we ask.
Great. Thank you very much. Next question. Can someone show the income levels on the website?
Yeah, again, I don't know that we can, because it does depend on the household size, and we'd have to show one for every county. I mean, we could, we don't have it currently posted on our website because we calculate it for you. But if you think that's helpful, I can definitely take that back and share it with the team, and see if there's a link that we can put out there that would take folks to the income level.
In other words, you put your address, that's going to trigger the location.
Yeah.
You put your income,
so you don't even
based on the number of, and then it will just tell you whether you are in that 80% or less of area median.
It would actually you don't even put your income, Gustavo. You put in your address, and then you put in how many people, and then an income amount will pop up, and it will say, are you below this income? So you say yes or no. So if you say, yes, I'm below that income, then you can qualify.
And I think what I would just add is, for folks that are looking for the chart, what Gustavo and Lori just described is you just put in your address and the number of people, but don't be worried. You're not obligating yourself to anything, like Lori said a minute ago. So you can put that info in, see what it says, and if it doesn't work for you, you can back out. No harm, no foul.
Right.
So, and that actually sounds easier than a chart, but sometimes we're kind of chart centric.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you can apply on your phone.
There you go. So if you don't have access to the internet, or you just like the internet, you can call.
Apply on phone. You can apply on your tablet, but you have to apply on there. There is an online requirement. So if you can't get online, then reach out to one of our LPM partners.
Okay. Next question, and this is from a mobile home park owner. Is it possible to forego resident cooperation as a requirement for payment when landlords submit for reimbursement on residents' behalves and those residents refuse to cooperate?
Yeah, not at this time. We have received a couple of requests for that, but it is a requirement of the feds and of the state. It's required in the law that the tenants have to be at 80% of the AMI. So there's really no way of complying with that requirement without validating with the tenant. So unfortunately, we absolutely need a tenant to apply and provide income documentation.
Got it. And I'm guessing that if a tenant doesn't want to cooperate, maybe they're paying their rent, because I'm not sure why someone wouldn't want to apply for help when they can get that. But
I know, right? Yeah. And maybe they're over income, but if they don't apply, then unfortunately they're opening up themselves to eviction.
Gotcha. All right, next question. Mobile home owners and renters can get assistance for space lease rent, ? Mobile home parks are different than apartments.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I was trying to distinguish that a minute ago, and maybe I made it more confusing. But yes, you can get assistance for your space rent.
Perfect. Very good. All right. Eric, I don't know if you have any other questions. I have exhausted mine, or if anyone else sees any questions popping up.
No other questions at the moment. I think if we could put up the screen again for where people can contact and get information, that would be a great resource.
Okay, hold on. I'll share it again.
And I would just say for everyone listening and watching, the most important thing is to get in contact with us. The assistance is out there. We want to help in any way that we can. We don't want people becoming unhoused. It's been a tough time, but there are resources out there. There are no dumb questions. You've gotten a lot of great information here, but you may have missed something or something might not make sense to you. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. Feel free to reach out to my office, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So if we don't have any more questions, Director Velasquez, do you have any final words for us? And Lori, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your help and information. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much for allowing me to be here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Just a thank you to you, Senator, and your staff for putting this together. We always welcome the opportunity to keep going out there and talking about this program and make sure that people take advantage of it. Thank you again.
You bet. And I'm going to repeat it one more time. housingiskey.com. So housingiskey.com, and that'll take you where you need to go and hopefully answer any questions you have. But again, don't hesitate to reach out to my office or anyone that you see here on the panel. Thanks to everyone, and for all of our mobile home residents. I can't wait to have a town hall in person with you as soon as it's safe. Everyone, take care. Thank you.